there are a lot of football players who at age 30, they either commit suicide or they will kill someone because their brains have been destroyed by the game. Okay, it is extremely violent sport. And
Doug, how many times does he think that happened? Today, we're going to be taking a look at Predictive History. It's this channel where this high school teacher in China talks about history and geopolitics. He's been gaining a lot of traction lately, and I thought I should check out his content. And yeah, he claims to have graduated from Yale. So I guess we're going to see some of that Yale education in action and what he's been teaching these kids. This is going to be the beginning of a series called Fraud Check, where I watch questionable people's videos, read their content, react to it. I also had some friends around for this one, so it should be double the fun. Cue the intro. The second American Civil War, that's upcoming.
American Civil War.
The audio for him is a little quiet. You might want to bump it up.
That a conflict
Better.
is very likely. And so we'll be discussing why it's likely, how this war will manifest itself, and what will happen after this war, okay?
Shit.
So the first thing to know about America is that it is a country that enjoys violence, okay?
Goddamn.
You can say that Americans
All their violent video games, guys.
addicted to violence.
Let me move this a little bit.
Okay, so for example,
GTA's
America has 434
You don't see a GTA Beijing, do you?
guns. Oh, sorry, 434
GTA
million
server.
guns. That's 1.3 guns for every one person.
Okay, is he trying to say that because we have a lot of guns, it means we enjoy violence?
Maybe.
Is this what he's equating? He's like, America enjoys violence. And then he's
It's
like,
like
they have more
gun
guns than
count
people.
equals love for violence.
Yes.
Propensity for violence might be.
Uh,
Yeah, because America's the only place where you're allowed to have it without getting annoyed to death.
yeah, but would you say it's equivalent? UK doesn't have guns and they just stab each other to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is they want to make whatever point they want to make.
Yeah.
That's what is it in London now? 23 stabbings a day or something like that?
Something crazy.
Yeah. See, the whole thing with something with a guy like this is he's going to say something that sounds plausible, or it sounds like Americans and violence. Your brain joins those two words together, and so you buy in.
Then there's American football. Have you guys seen American football, where guys just bang at each other? Okay, it is extremely violent sport. In fact, America is really the only country that plays this sport, and Americans love football. The Super Bowl is the most watched TV event every year, and the game of football causes a lot of psychological injuries, okay? So there are a lot of football players who at age 30, they either commit suicide or they will kill someone because their brains have been destroyed by the game, okay? It is extremely violent sport. And
Doug, how many times does he think that happens?
Everybody goes through high school, goes to football, and then by the time they're 25-ish, they're ruined. It's over.
In America, you play football, buy a gun, get injured, shoot someone, and die.
Yeah, because by the time you've done brain damage to yourself, you have 1.3 guns
Right.
each. So now what do you do, right?
Yo, football is worse than like jihadis, bro. Dog, this is
Allahu
insane.
Brady.
Yo, all right, let's go.
even though it is
I feel like at this rate, we're not gonna get through a good amount of this at all.
No,
That'd be
never.
a 2-hour watch of a 1-hour video.
Now, why did they fight the war? And the standard explanation is because the North wanted to get rid of the evil of slavery. And that's not true. That's not what happened. At the beginning of the founding of the nation, the Constitution permitted slavery. Okay, slavery was legal. And so the South were free to have as many slaves as they want. the North didn't need slaves because it was an industrial-based economy.
So kind of not true.
Yes, kind of. It didn't allow slavery. It just didn't. Well,
Yeah, the founding fathers wanted to get rid of it.
You could argue
They
that.
wanted to-
Yeah. Go ahead.
They wanted to get rid of it, but when they were where they were at, where it was so unstable because everything was brand new, basically the South said we wouldn't that the South wouldn't engage in the revolution if they were going to ban slavery. So they were like, we have to deal with this. This is a big deal. This is the great evil. We have to deal with this. And Congress kicked the can down the road for till the Civil War.
Yeah.
So
let's continue listening.
Yeah.
Let's
But
let him talk.
I'm just trying to dispel. He's got it wrong here.
Yeah, this is wrong. Yeah.
The problem was the nation was expanding westwards, okay? The nation was expanding west. And they were adding more states into the Union. And the more states there are, they can send senators and representatives to Washington, D.C., okay? And the fear was that if these Western states were pro-slavery, then that would tip the balance in favor of the pro-slavery camp. But if the reverse were true, if the Western states were anti-slavery, then the South would be marginalized, okay? So for decades, there's this fierce debate as to how to handle these Western states as they were admitted into the Union one by one, okay? And the solution, what they call the Missouri Compromise, is that for every one state that came in as pro-slavery, the next state had to be anti-slavery, okay? Does that make sense? To maintain a balance. But the problem, of course, is that a lot of these Western states had their own opinions. So some of these Western states, for example, Kansas, would want to be anti-slavery, okay? So for decades, this was a huge issue politically in America, which divided the nation. The turning point was in 1860, when Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States. And Lincoln was radically anti-slavery.
Wrong.
Didn't he own slaves?
Lincoln was a free soil kind of guy. I believe that meant that all the new states had to be free. But whoever had slaves already could keep them, but all the new states had to be slavery free. I believe that's what Lincoln was. They called the free soil.
He's wrong about the Missouri Compromise too.
Yeah, this is wrong.
He's wrong about it. It basically they divided above the parallel. So anything north of the 3630 parallel would be anti-slavery. Anything below that would be pro-slavery. It's not one for one.
So they declared independence from the United States. They basically seceded from the Union, okay? And Lincoln, in response, invaded the South.
Lie. Okay. The Civil War began before Lincoln even got into office. Lincoln was elected as a response to Lincoln getting elected because he was a free soil guy. The southern states seceded.
Lincoln won the 1860 election, and then the Southerners freaked out.
They seceded before he even got into office. Or they started to, I believe, right?
I think so. It's pretty close. It's in that time period they knew he was elected and knew he was coming and knew,
so he's elected what in November he's elected?
January.
He's gonna go into office in January. So I believe this is
in March.
March.
Yeah, his presidency began on March 4th.
Okay, so
and
this is
Civil War kicked off on April 12th. So 39 days in between.
Before Fort Sumter gets attacked, right? Or something like that.
It's worth noting that several southern states had already seceded from the Union before Lincoln.
In January and February, yeah. So Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, the Texas to South Carolina, Texas through South Carolina and Florida and down to Florida.
So the Civil War kicked off after, but the machinations were kicked off.
Okay, so I was wrong on that. The Civil War started shortly after Lincoln got into office, but he didn't initiate the attack.
Yeah, it would already
The Southerners
before.
attacked whatever fort that started this, that kicked off the war.
Either way, the country was falling apart before, like the states had already left before he got into office. They had already said they're going to secede. So either way, the country was falling apart when he got into office.
Yeah, I just want to be precise in what we're saying, so now we're not making mistakes like he is, because he's butchering this a lot. I'm not trying to be like him. So it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I have the history up right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't have anything up. I'm just off the top of my head.
Okay? So basically, the Civil War was a battle over how much power the federal government had. Okay? So from the perspective of the South, they were fighting the war for their right to freely express their political views. Okay? And the North was fighting to maintain the Union. Slavery was not the main issue. In fact, Lincoln himself said that if I could end the war without freeing any slaves, I would do so. Slavery is not the main issue.
Okay. This is wrong. Okay. He's making a revisionist historian's argument for the Civil War. The reason why the Civil War started was the issue of slavery.
Correct.
The reason why they seceded from the Union. Slavery was the main issue. If you follow the history, point by point, up until they seceded, the main problem was slavery. That's why they did it. It had nothing to do with states' rights. That's after. That's people justifying whatever they did after the fact, not while it was happening. You can read all the letters, all the books from all the people that fought in the Civil War. While they're fighting, they're talking that it's about slavery, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. All of the documents explicitly cited the protection of slavery in the declarations of secession.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a butchered quote. The actual quote is, "If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do it."
Half the quote.
Yeah. So there's a reason why Lincoln said that, because he's the president of the Union. His number one priority is saving the Union.
Right.
So, like, of course, slavery gets second place under saving the Union. That's normal. Any president would do that. That's the normal thing to do as a president of a country. Your first priority is saving the country. And then everything else falls under that. So, of course, he would say that. That makes complete sense. That doesn't change what the war was fought over. If the war started, people were fighting over water, Lincoln would still say, "If I could save the Union without water, I would. If I save with water, I would." Like, he would still say the same thing. It's not. It has nothing to do.
I mean, he's basically placating both sides with that statement, which is reasonable. I'm not faulting him for that, but like it's funny that he just cut the quote in half to have exactly what the view that he wanted, right?
Yeah.
It's like I've heard this argument in person too. It was states' rights, or I'm like, no, that's literally not what was happening here.
It's the same thing.
I'm looking at it right now. It's like, that was a genuine problem, but that was not what they were arguing at all.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the secession documents.
Yeah, and if you just follow the timeline,
keeping the Union intact was the main issue. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So, but again, they could have chosen to politically compromise. They could have had discussions, right? They could have even broke apart, but they chose to fight a gruesome civil war, okay? So the third thing you need to know about America is that America resolves conflicts through violence, okay? It doesn't really have a history of diplomacy. It has a history of war making, okay?
Bro, what?
Okay, where is this lecture being held? Is it in China? Is it in Canada?
In China.
I want to know where this assumption is being made.
Oh, okay. Does
the
he
way
know
he's like
like
glossing through it and just assuming certain things without like clarifying any of it is very interesting.
it's like we usually resolve things through violence. You know, like we had like with the federal papers and all that, the Federalist Papers and stuff like that, right? There's no like huge issues
Yeah,
were
they-
resolved like just through conversation and politics, right? And not and included zero fighting, right? Oh man, we had Federalists and anti-Federalists, and then we figured it out. Oh man! All right, let's keep going.
So, given this history, now let's look at the conflicts in America today to see how serious the division is. And the reality is that today it's actually very, very serious. Far more so than in 1861 when they fought the first Civil War, okay? So let's look at the divisions. The first major division is basically between the haves and the have-nots, okay? So inequality and debt. So the wealthy, the top 1%, not only do they control most of the wealth in America, but they also control what we call the means of production.
Is that
He says
what it is?
The case everywhere. Like oh yeah, 1% of the people in America control most of the production. It's like, isn't that the case everywhere though?
But even worse, he says all wealth creation goes through them, which is not.
Remember, he's a teacher in communist China. So I'm trying to figure out what other like not communist but Chinese specific cultural things are going to be at play here. But he's in communist China.
So basically, the top 1% have a monopoly over wealth production. And the way they make most of their money is actually through collecting debt, okay? By exploiting other people.
Ooh. Collecting debt, exploiting other people. Is that what that means?
Interesting.
I don't think that's how economics works.
There has to be means of production.
Yeah,
Even if you're a socialist, you have to
he's
understand
talking
there has to be means of
socialist talking
production to
points.
pay.
It's interesting.
You don't just like randomly create debt and then have it pay back.
No, you are exploiting people with debt.
Uh,
I'm not sure that's how that works. Right? I'm pretty sure debt built debt builds a lot of things. Builds businesses, builds cities, it builds everything. That's like the lubricant to like a healthy
credit
economy.
And investment is how large things get done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, China does a lot of it.
Yeah, we're in this fun, software world where we can just bootstrap anything and be millionaires. But like, the reality of infrastructure is that it can't be done without credit.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
But there's also another strand of America, and these are dissidents or political dissidents. And they believe in the Enlightenment. They believe that reason should be the god of human affairs. Okay? And these were the founding fathers. Okay? The founding fathers believed in something called deism, which is that there is a God, but God gave us the power, reason, and logic to determine our own affairs. So the Constitution is a document based on deism. Okay, separation of church and state.
Some of them did. I think it was Franklin specifically was a deist. There's a couple of them who were deists, but there were others who were Christians.
I won't argue with him because if he wants to interpret it that way, that's fine. I don't want to fight on things that are just slight interpretations or whatever, however he wants to do it. Yeah, I won't fight on this, whatever.
I no, because he goes like only reason I say that is he goes, the founding fathers were only left versus the Puritans. Yeah, man, no, or Puritans or the Christian. It's not.
But I don't want to.
It's not world breaking, but it's not right either. That's all.
Yeah, I don't want to fact check just like interpretations of things per se too much.
I love my Chinese Twitter, man.
Chinese Twitter, man.
Oh man, this was good though. I appreciate you guys for
stopping
by. Hopefully the recordings are all good. or I'm gonna get you guys again. We gotta do this twice, and I'm just
Yeah, let me know next time. I'll run a recording. I didn't know if you had problems with that.
No, I don't
I
have
can
any
run a second
problems.
one.
It's just hopefully it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully.